Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive into a career that I think you're going to find really interesting.
It's airport maintenance technician.
Okay?
And you've given us a lot of great stuff to dig into, from career guides all the way to interview prep tips,
Yeah.
and even some really interesting information about using AI for your job hunt from our friends over at RoleCatcher.
Right.
So we're going to take a look and see what this career path is really all about.
You know, it's funny when you think about an airport maintenance technician, most people probably just picture someone out there fixing the runway.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a lot more dynamic than that.
Okay.
It's really more like this. Airports are like mini cities with so many different parts that need to work together to keep everything running smoothly.
Right.
So these technicians are really the ones that are keeping all of those parts moving.
So beyond just the runways, like what else are we talking about here? When we talk
It's
about
airport maintenance technician.
it's like the middle of the night and there's a storm blowing in, but a plane needs to land. Oh, wow.
It's the team of technicians that make sure those runway lights are working so that the plane can see and land safely.
Oh, wow.
Or think about the baggage handling systems, you know, those crazy conveyor belts and all the stuff that gets your luggage from you to the plane.
Right.
Technicians keep all of that moving.
I can only imagine.
And you can't forget about the signs or even making sure that the airport doesn't flood.
Right.
They have these huge drainage systems that they have to keep up with, too.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a ton of variety in this role.
That's a lot more than I would have pictured when I think about it.
But I would imagine that all of that variety means that the day-to-day is anything but boring.
You got it. One day you might be working on the navigation systems, and the next you're fixing something on one of those baggage carousels.
Right.
It's definitely a fast-paced environment that keeps you on your toes.
And one of the things that really stood out to me in the career guide was that this job has a lot of security. And that's really appealing to a lot of people these days because the workforce is changing so quickly.
It makes sense. Airports are only getting busier and busier.
And they really need people to keep everything running smoothly.
So in some industries, you might see a lot of change and ups and downs, but for airport maintenance technicians, it seems like the demand is only going up.
Yeah. And it also seems like this isn't your typical 9 to 5.
Oh,
You're not in an office.
not at all.
You're out in the elements.
Yeah, you're going to see some weather for sure,
Rain or shine.
keeping things moving.
That's fascinating.
But it's not just about the weather. The guide also talked about how technology is being used more and more in airports.
Oh, really?
We're talking about those automated baggage systems, the security systems.
It's not just wrenches and screwdrivers anymore. You're working with some pretty high-tech stuff.
So it really sounds like this career path is a blend of hands-on skills, but also this constantly changing technology.
Exactly.
I can see how that would appeal to someone who really likes to learn new things and adapt.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of skills, I was really surprised by the breakdown in this guide.
What was it?
62% mechanical knowledge and 63% building and construction.
Wow. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's really interesting. It sounds like you need to be a jack of all trades to do this job.
You're not just focusing on one thing. You need to know about mechanical systems,
Yeah.
electrical system
Okay.
construction.
A little bit of everything challenging, but it sounds pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
Keeps things interesting for sure.
And that's what's so cool about it, I think.
You're not just, fixing things.
You're really problem solving and using those skills.
Right.
You have to adapt to new technology all the time.
It's really a complex job.
So it sounds like you really have to have a deep understanding of how all of this stuff works.
To be able to do this every day.
Yeah.
So what does a typical day look like for an airport maintenance technician?
So the career guide actually goes into that.
Okay.
And it talks about all the different functions and abilities they need to have.
And it seems like they do a little bit of everything.
Right.
One day you might be working on the hydraulic system of a jet bridge,
Wow.
and the next you're calibrating sensors on a baggage handling system.
Oh, wow. Those things are crazy.
I know, it's amazing how they work.
I mean, they swallow luggage and then somehow it appears where it's supposed to be.
It's like magic.
I know, right?
Mhm.
But the guide really emphasizes how important it is for them to understand why something went wrong,
Right.
not just fix it.
So they're not just putting a Band-Aid on something.
Right. They have to get to the root of the problem.
It's about figuring out long-term solutions so things are working properly.
So it's almost like they're detectives in a way.
Kinda.
But instead of solving crimes, they're solving mechanical mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the preventative maintenance.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want something to break,
Right. You don't want to wait until something breaks.
especially in an airport.
Yeah. Think about it.
Thousands of people every single day.
Relying on these systems to work.
So you can't really afford to have something major go wrong.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, no kidding.
I can only imagine the attention to detail it takes.
Oh, yeah. You need to really know these systems inside and out.
Yeah.
You have to see the warning signs before something happens.
You need to know how all the pieces fit together.
You're kind of the airport guardian, making sure things don't fall apart.
Right, and safety is super important, too.
It's huge.
The guide talked about that as well.
Yeah, with so many moving parts.
Right, planes, people, luggage.
It seems like there's a lot that could go wrong.
And there are a lot of safety protocols
I bet.
to make sure everything and everyone is safe.
So airport maintenance technicians are a big part of making sure that happens.
I would imagine.
They're making sure those lights on the runway are working,
Right.
making sure bags aren't flying off the conveyor belts.
That would be bad.
Yeah, it's really all about paying attention to the details.
Well, that makes me feel better as a passenger.
Knowing that they're on top of it.
It's a team effort, though.
Okay, it's not just one person doing everything.
No way they have specialized technicians in every area.
Oh, really?
So you'll have someone for electrical, someone else who specializes in the pavement.
All kinds of different specialties.
And you all have to work together
Oh, yeah,
to make sure everything runs smoothly.
exactly like a well-oiled machine.
I like that analogy.
Hmm.
And it probably involves actual oil, too.
Probably.
So communication must be really important.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to explain what's wrong
To other people,
to your coworkers, supervisors, maybe even outside contractors.
especially when it comes to safety.
Yeah, you don't want any miscommunication there.
Not at all.
It can mean the difference between things running smoothly.
Or a major disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not all just technical stuff, right?
Yeah,
You're working with people, too.
You are. You're surrounded by people.
Airports are full of them.
Right. Passengers, airline staff.
All day long.
Yeah, the guide mentioned that they're interacting with all sorts of people.
Even government inspectors.
It's true.
So you really need to be good with people to do this job well.
Definitely being able to talk to people and build relationships.
Okay.
That's a big part of it, too.
And then there's the schedule.
Oh, yeah, what about it?
It's not your typical 9 to 5
Not even close.
because airports are 24/7.
Think about it.
So you have to be okay with that.
You do. You have to be flexible.
That's true. You have to be able to roll with it.
Definitely. And you might even get to watch the sunrise over the tarmac sometimes.
That actually sounds kind of cool.
Right.
For someone who really enjoys a fast-paced environment and knowing that what they do is important, this could be a really good fit.
Totally. So we've talked about the skills and the safety stuff and even how important it is to be good with people in this job.
But how do you actually get one of these jobs?
Right.
That's where RoleCatcher comes, and their platform uses AI to help you with your job hunt. And it can be a game changer.
Okay, so tell me more about RoleCatcher. How can it help someone who wants to be an airport maintenance technician?
Well, have you ever spent like hours scrolling through online job postings,
Oh, yeah.
trying to figure out which ones you should even apply to?
It's the worst.
I know, and then you're like, how do I even make my application stand out?
Exactly.
That's what RoleCatcher does. They take all of the guesswork out of it.
Okay.
Their AI looks at job descriptions, really analyzes them to find the exact skills and keywords that the employer is looking for.
So it's like they have a secret code or something?
Kind of. They figure out what those magic words are.
So you know exactly what to put on your resume.
Exactly. So you're speaking the right language.
That makes a lot of sense.
So instead of just hoping for the best, you're making sure your application gets seen by the right people.
So it's like giving yourself a way better chance.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there.
Oh, really?
They even help you get ready for interviews.
Oh, wow.
They have thousands of practice questions that are specific to different careers.
Oh, that's all.
So you can really practice and get comfortable talking about your experience.
And you can go into that interview feeling a lot more confident.
Exactly. Feeling prepared.
That's so helpful.
It really is. And they don't just throw questions at you.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
even give you AI-powered feedback on your answers.
So you can see how you're doing.
Yeah, like having a personal coach right there in your pocket.
So you can keep getting better.
Yeah, it's really cool. So we covered a lot of ground about airport maintenance technicians.
We have, and it seems like it's a career that can be both really tough, but also really rewarding.
For sure. We talked about all the technical stuff, the problem solving, the safety, and of course you need to be a people person.
You're not just working with machines all day.
Right. But you're also keeping everything running smoothly for everyone else.
And that's got to feel good.
It does. Plus the job security is a big plus.
That's true, especially these days.
It really is.
So if you're someone who enjoys a challenge and likes to stay busy and you're good at figuring things out, this might be a good career path for you.
I think so. It's one of those jobs that most people don't even think about.
But it's so important.
Definitely. And if you think this might be something you want to explore, check out RoleCatcher.
Yeah, they have so many great resources.
They can help you figure out next steps and even get you ready for that interview.
This is a great tool.
Now, before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about. I
Okay.
mean, this talked a lot about safety.
But what kind of training do you think airport maintenance technicians have to go through?
To be able to work safely around airplanes and all of that.
That's something to think about. And that's all the time we have for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.